And he's going, I can't believe you played like that. What were you doing out there? He goes, Stevie's over. This is the windshield cracking story, right? My father's a very passionate guy, right? So he goes, he's over here, he's here, all over here. You're supposed to be here. The windshield just cracks. You just see it just starts to crack. Now, it doesn't take much. It takes a lot, actually, to get my father to kind of pause, right? So he sits back, driving. I'm sitting there like this. Food is always a part of this, right? A couple miles ahead, we see this sign, Burger King. Now, the reason that's very special is because a lot of soccer practices, we used to have cheeseburgers from McDonald's on the way home. So, good thing I was playing 4 or 5 times a week, I could burn it off. But it was a good memory. So he goes, he's driving, and he goes, you want a Whopper? That was the end of that argument.
You want a Whopper?
So, as you can imagine, that's just a taste of you wanted to play great. Otherwise, the drive home was miserable. But on the other side, I got to say, I mean, if you played fantastic, it was celebrated for days. But that's one. Thank you, Peter. Hey, this is one time you don't get to yell at me, all right?
Hey, were you guys in Europe? Because you're driving on the right side.
I know. No, there's a heater story. This was the torture chamber. Now, I think I finally have permission to tell these stories because my dad said, when I'm gone, then you can tell these stories. Now, I'm telling you the story because I think you'd appreciate it, and it's going to tie in. You know, it gives you a taste of who he was, and I think you guys have a pretty good grasp on that. The torture chamber. This was another tournament that I was in, and I didn't play very well. This time I learned. Sit in the back seat. So now my father's in the front seat, and it's freezing outside. Freezing outside. I think there was probably a game. There was a little light snow dusting on one of the fields. And, oh man, it was a long drive, and I knew just getting yelled at and asking, what were you doing, just made it even longer. So now I'm in the back seat, and I remember it was the white LeSabre that he had. It was, company car, this nice thing. He was all, it was comfortable. Thank God it was comfortable, because it was a long drive. So in the back, he's talking to me, and he's mad that I'm not responding to him. Why aren't you saying anything? Why aren't you saying anything? Why'd you play? I would not do it, right? He goes, you're not going to talk? I'll make you talk. First, he cranks up the heat. Now, he's got a jacket on, too, and a sweater. And my dad, he was getting hot. So he turns up the heat. After a couple minutes, it's roasting in there. I got a bead of sweat. He's got so many coming out. He's looking at me in the mirror. He goes, you gonna start talking? No. Next, he blasts the speakers because they're right by my ears. Turns it up full volume. This loudspeaker, the heat's blasted, we're roasted. You gonna talk now? Right? You gonna talk now? Nope. Then he decides to cool it off because it was way too long that we had the heat going on. So he drops all the windows, turns the heat off, and all this cold air starts coming. And it had to be 30-some degrees out there. All of a sudden, we're starting to shiver. You gonna talk now? Did not talk. Finally, he gave up. And I think that ended with the rest of the trip was quiet on the way home. He just couldn't get to me that time. I wasn't going to engage. But that's the torture chamber, as I call it, on the way home. What he did it with love, that's the thing. I mean, he knew the type of player I was. And when I played well, believe me, it was like the greatest thing. And he knew it. It's like you're doing what you're supposed to do. And when I didn't play well, he knew that's not the player that you are. So he just tried to do whatever he could to motivate that out of me. So.
Hey Vince, wasn't there a quick short story about when you were wearing a t-shirt
Yeah, that's what I just said.
If you wanna tell it.
I can tell it.
The
Go
t-shirt.
for it.
But when am I gonna write the book? Oh, so I'll make that one quick. All right, so mom goes to work. This was probably when I was 13, 14. He used to have these Joshin t-shirts, all right? And they were 2 times the size of what we were, so we wore them as nightgowns. Maybe I was just a little bit younger. So I had this t-shirt on. Of course, I was wearing moutons, you know, just wasn't. But I remember we went to Aunt Donna and Uncle Doug's house. And at this time, I was telling my dad, or at least trying to, I don't know if I want to play soccer anymore. Because I've been playing on 3-4 teams, and I was constantly playing throughout the weeks. And I felt like I was starting to lose that passion. And he wouldn't have that. I wouldn't have that. So we're over Aunt Donna's. I had a game over at Tri-C by their house, so they came to watch, or we went over after. And I got that look again. You know? And I know, I was like, oh shit, I can't, you know, I can't go home like this. So now I kind of leaned on Aunt Donna and Uncle Doug and Mom, like, oh, maybe he doesn't want to play anymore. And he's across the table looking at me. Right? So I knew I was in for it. Next day, Mom's going to work. Just me and Dad at home. Not good. So I'm downstairs at the kitchen table, Dad's upstairs, and we know Dad has a presence, right? So I'm just waiting for this guy, this man, to come downstairs and talk to me, because I knew it was coming. So I'm sitting there, I got my t-shirt on, and I'm trying to eat breakfast, dreading that he's coming downstairs. And I'm thinking, Mom's not home. There's no buffer. Mom's not here. She can't get in between. Tony, stop, Tony. No, Genie, no. There's none. So I'm just looking down, then I'm looking out of the corner of my eye. He goes over to the microwave, does his thing, looks at me. It's over by the sink. So you don't want to play anymore, huh? I look up. I go. He goes. So I kind of get up. I didn't know what to do. Right? I'm standing there. He walks over. You don't want to play anymore? I said, no, I don't think so. He goes, I looked at it. I looked it upstairs, and sure enough, he came after me. You don't want to play anymore, huh? So, needless to say, I ended up playing for a lot longer from that point on. So yeah, but I will include that in the books. This one I really like. This is the Hollow Easter Bunny, the Hollow Chocolate Bunny. So I just started working. I just started making money. I was, what, 15 and a half. And I knew my dad loved chocolate. Rick, you can relate, right?
I know how he feels.
Right.
Every day's okay.
That's right. So, you know, getting a chance to work with Rick alongside him the past 7 months, you know, it's been nice because I see similarities in him with my father, definitely with the sweets, and I'm thinking, man, you know, it's like my dad. But he loves chocolate, so Easter comes, and I'm thinking, man, I finally get to buy something for my dad and for my mom. And what do I get? So I see this Easter bunny, and it's a hollow chocolate bunny. I go, oh, this is great, because I'm using my own money. So I give it to him, and my dad has this way of, like everybody has shared, he makes you feel like he's like so thankful. You know, he makes you feel warm and welcome. And I remember he said, oh, you know, thank you. A couple months later, I go into the pantry and I'm looking for something. I see this box. This is the chocolate bunny. I go, Dad, how come you didn't eat this? He's at the kitchen table. He goes, that's that shitty chocolate. Totally forgot that I bought it. I said, Dad, I bought that for you. Now he had to retract. He goes, that's not so bad. So he still had a way of trying to make me feel a little bit better about the situation, right? That's that shitty chocolate. So I think from that point on, I started getting him really good chocolate. 'Cause I didn't want to hear
Solid
that.
chocolate
Shitty
bunnies.
chocolate.
The solid chocolate bunnies, not the
Well,
hollow
you know,
ones.
solid and maybe Godiva, but things I knew he would really like. Yeah. This is one thing that I really appreciate that I got to see was the Teamsters that came yesterday. There were 3 guys from the Teamsters Union, and these guys, 2 out of the 3, they were all tall, but 2 out of the 3 looked like ex-football players. I mean, like 6'4", 6'5", Dale's height, but these guys were just built, right? You didn't want to tangle with them. And I remember the story my father would tell. He would talk about his Rini Rigo days, right? When the Teamsters were starting to come in this negotiation, trying to get the benefits and the pay, compensation, all that stuff figured out. And he would tell the stories. This is what's great about my dad, as you all know. He would tell you the stories, and you felt like you were there. And when you met the people, it would flood in as though you were there, but you knew who these people were. So he tells a story how they just weren't getting along. You know, these guys came in with an air about them, and my dad didn't like that, right? You're not coming into my territory and telling me what to do, right? So the story goes, and I'll have to confirm it from their side, but I at least heard the Tony Rosati side, which I do believe. The story goes, these guys, my dad almost lunges across the desk at this guy, and someone pulls him back. I think Len Muty was having to pull my father back. And my dad, for some reason, he loved baseball bats. I don't know why. But he goes, hey, I got a baseball bat. Let's go outside and finish this right now. Come on, right? So my dad's just 5'8", right? But built, stocky Italian guy. And you got 6'4", this dude that comes off of what looked like an NFL team. And he's probably thinking, who is this crazy Italian guy threatening me with this bat? I got this baseball bat, right? So those guys came yesterday. I finally got to put a face with the story. And I even brought it up to them. I said, oh, I heard about this. And he's like, yep, you know, it started with me and your dad butting heads, but, you know, at the end we were hugging. And that's how it is, right? You know, if he's just a very warm person. Very warm. So I think I have another story, believe it or not. This is the Big Tony story. So my dad loved the mafia stuff, right? He loved being Italian, but he just loved, because he looked the part. He looked like a mobster. And Pino does too. There was actually a magazine shot, and I swear Pino was in it. He does modeling on the side. So we have to get this. But I remember one time, this ties in, when I was playing soccer for Ohio Premier, this was a club team. Matt Kukla was a friend of mine. He goes, hey, is your dad in the mob? I said, I can tell you, but no, I'd have to kill you. He goes, I swear your dad's in the mob. I was like, what's in that trunk? I can't tell you, right? I told my dad, he loved that. But Big Tony, so this goes way back, right? He just carried himself that way, and he loved The Godfather. He loved playing that role because it just fit him very well. So I heard, this was a more recent story, this had to be within the last 6 months. He was going to PA with one of the guys from a company he was doing consulting work for. Might have been Robin Industries or something of that nature. So he's with a couple of the big wigs from that company. And they're driving through the Poconos, and you know, my dad goes, who says this, right? He's got to be in the mob. He goes, you know, they can hide a body back there. So the guy's in the front seat, my dad's in the back, you know, he's starting to feel like, should I be up here? Should I watch him? You know, what's Big Tony doing? So he was known as Big Tony. They went to a restaurant with these guys as they finally made it there. And they get in, and they were selecting something off the menu, and they ran out of it, whatever my dad ordered. So the guy's like, oh no, we'll make sure. So they play this up, right? They're sitting there, my dad's there. They go, hey, they call the server over. Yeah? He goes, you know who this is? This is Big Tony. You don't say no to Big Tony. So my dad's sitting there, you know, he's got that look on his face, playing it up. He's, you know, what do you need? You get what Big Tony wants. So he goes off, he talks to the chef, he comes back. I think the chef came out, right? It's like, well, what do you want we can make for you? He goes, yeah. He goes, you don't say no to Big Tony. So this guy was scared. Needless to say, he ended up getting what he wanted. These guys had a hoop playing it out. All he needed was the topping. So these are some things I wanted to share with you guys. I mean, you know, the past couple days to see everybody come through has been incredible. You know, the love that was in the air, the stories that we got to hear, it's really beautiful to hear that and to see it. So we appreciate it.
Yes, very much. Thank you, everybody.